The Xbox brand faces an Inferno. Uh-oh. By the way, there were some Xbox Andes. Remember that Kareem guy? Well, anyway, he clipped what I said. Asmongold responded to me in his video, and he says here what he says here is about Xbox is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I love Xbox. I had the Xbox One. I had the 360. I played all the Halo original trilogies. Got like 5 posters down there. Gears of War, when the new one comes out, I'm going to play it. I think Xbox is the best publisher right now. They are the most ethical, more so than Sony, because they put their platforms on PC, or their titles on PC as well. I think Xbox is the best. And he just immediately cuts it right there. And then, like, there were a bunch of other Xbox Andes in the comments, like, bro, I knew he was based. I knew it. They were so fucking happy about it.
About Xbox, because quite frankly, there's a lot going on right now.
Xbox Weeks from Hell? Well, I guess they released a new Halo.
Confidence in Xbox is seemingly at a low not seen in over a decade, since the Xbox One's online check-in requirements and the TV-first messaging instantly torched all of the momentum that had been carefully and brilliantly built up over the course of the Xbox 360 generation.
Who wants a brand new Xbox? Yeah!
The root of the issue this time comes down to an existential question about the Xbox platform itself. Namely, why should gamers continue?
Why? Great question. Why?
To invest in it. Because right now, the suggestion is that many of the things that make Xbox valuable could find their way to rival consoles. It started with whispers of last year's shadow-dropped rhythm-action hit Hi-Fi Rush being ported to Nintendo Switch and possibly also PlayStation 5. Subsequent murmurs said the same about the long-running live service hit Sea of Thieves.
There's also like another element of this that I think people aren't talking about as much, is that the FTC just got done investigating Xbox and Microsoft for a monopoly. And they almost weren't able to buy out Activision Blizzard because of that. And so guess what happens? Well, now they're trying to put their games on other platforms so they don't have this happen to them again. I actually think that's the biggest reason. I don't even think that it has to do with Xbox itself. I think that it has to do with the fact that they don't want to be seen as a monopoly, and they don't want to be regulated.
I admit.
And I think that's why, for example, like right after, because they did this with Blizzard too. And like, think about it. Like the Blizzard Battle.net launcher was the only place you could play Diablo 4. Now, is it? Yeah. Now you can play it on Steam. Now you can play Overwatch on Steam. I think this was done intentionally as a response to that lawsuit. I think also Xbox has kind of fallen off. There's also that. But I think the lawsuit is a much bigger reason. So you think they want to be seen as a publisher rather than a console platform or a marketplace? I think that's part of it, yeah. And also I think that the truth is that Xbox, as far as I know from what I've seen, I could be wrong, but PlayStation, let me see. What's the new Xbox? Let's find out. PS5 sales versus Xbox Series S. Yeah. So PS5 is outselling the Xbox Series X/S by a nearly 3-to-1 margin. PS5 22 million versus Xbox's 7 million. Nobody ever complained about there not being enough Xboxes because nobody cared. That's just it.
Bother me the way it irritated many in the Xbox community. Hi-Fi Rush is fantastic to be sure, but it isn't a AAA blockbuster release that draws new players into the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, he's right about that.
Its way to other platforms? Fine. Xbox players have still had access to it for free as part of their Game Pass subscription since it launched, and they'll continue to do so. Switch players would have to pay for the privilege of playing it. As for Sea of Thieves,
So what's the problem?
well, that's a 6-year-old game, live service or not. It's just hard for me to get worked up about that one.
Why would you not want people to play a video game? I don't get it. So they don't want people to play the game?
These latest rumors, if proven true, have the power to shake the very foundations of the Xbox brand. They suggest that everything might be on the table for possible PS5 porting. Starfield, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and maybe
Sony can pay money to not have Starfield. Like, you know how they pay like certain companies probably like money to stay exclusive to PlayStation? Maybe they can pay money like to not have it on. Yeah. It's a good idea.
And these are rumors which, by the way, sure look like they have some truth to them, given that Xbox boss Phil Spencer took to Twitter to respond to the chaos saying, quote, "We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for this next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox.
Oh, I can't wait for
Stay
this
tuned."
shit.
End quote. The whole thing gives off some serious resigned to third place energy from Microsoft.
Well, they haven't resigned to third place. They're just actively competing for it every single time. Like, in my opinion, why the fuck? Like, the only reason I buy a PS5 is because the exclusive games and I stream the games. If it wasn't for that, I would never own a PS5. Why the fuck would I buy one of those? Like, the only console that's worth buying, in my opinion, is the Nintendo Switch. Because it actually does something that a PC doesn't do. Well, a Steam Deck does now. So.
Left longtime Xbox fans, people who have invested thousands of dollars over multiple console generations, wondering why they should still support Xbox.
Wasted thousands of dollars over numerous so what? So like now, because you bought the PlayStation 3, now they have to make a PlayStation 6? Like, but I bought the other ones. Like, dude, where are these people coming from, man?
Just go buy a PS5, enjoy the many stellar exclusives that Sony has spent the past decade plus cultivating, and get whatever Xbox has to offer over there eventually.
By the way, fuck Sony for making these games exclusive to their shitty fucking console. Wish I could play it on PC.
In short, consumers have shown Microsoft loyalty, but now it feels like perhaps it's not being reciprocated.
You can't just run away.
Okay, so like, let me get this straight. All right. So let's go ahead and let me just make sure that I understand this. Okay, so you have Xbox and you have PS5, right? So if you but like if they get rid of Xbox and then the Xbox games go onto the PS5, assuming by the next generation this would be the case, wouldn't there be like more games that you could play? And wouldn't it just be better? Because now all you have to do is buy a PS5 and you can play all the Xbox games and all the PlayStation games? Because like from my perspective, I that's how I'm seeing it. You can't understand this, man. They're a different breed. Less dev time, yes, but they have a monopoly on the console market. Well, Nintendo's there. Nintendo's huge. And also, I think a monopoly on the console market is bad. Like, you're definitely right. But, like, I don't want Xbox to just keep making Xboxes and like make these forced exclusives in order to create competition for PlayStation. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a strong enough argument to make people spend $500 every 6 years.
Away from your problems.
Truly, Xbox Game Pass is really the console now,
Yeah.
not the Series X or Series
That's
S.
a good point. That's smart. I agree with him.
It's been trending this way for a while.
Yeah.
It's admittedly weird to wrap your head around. But
Like, look at that shit, bro. Like, Xbox Game Pass. It's not... this is like old Netflix. Remember whenever Netflix first came out, and it was like, does Netflix have the movie? The answer is yes. Like, it's got Persona, Brotato, Pow World. It's got the good games on it. It doesn't have, like, you know, Bill's Adventure making, you know, fucking banana splits at Dairy Queen, and it's a game with the graphics on a PlayStation 2, and it sucks. These are, like, real games.
interesting to see it actually
It does have
happen.
Starfield,
You'll
though.
still get that good Xbox Game Pass deal and get it first on Xbox, but
Yeah.
will that be enough to get people into your ecosystem?
It would be for
There
me.
is a potential winning strategy here.
Oh, this
which
is
I'll get to
Redfall.
in a moment. But there's one other massive problem that's making all of this worse for Microsoft and for gamers right now.
What's that?
Messaging. I've been covering Xbox for a long time, and to be frank, I'm not sure its messaging has ever been this terrible. Frequently, it's hard to decipher what a company means. Last year, Phil Spencer told Eurogamer that, quote,
That's because they're trying to figure that out themselves. The truth is that it's obvious that Xbox is trying to move into more of a publisher role. It's obvious that they're trying to reinvent how people buy and consume video games with Game Pass, and I think they're doing a very good job of it. So the reason why Xbox doesn't have a consistent message is because Xbox doesn't know what the message is in the first place, because they are inventing the message and they are constantly changing what that message that they are inventing is based off of the feedback from the people in their audience and from what the market says.
think our
That's
games
really what
should
it
be
is.
available in more
That's what I
places,
think.
end quote, but offered no concrete parameters around what that means. Is it more places in the physical realm, with Game Pass going quite literally everywhere via phones and other portable devices?
Yep.
Or, as the rumors suggest, do more places equal rival consoles? Poor communication around what Microsoft perceives as a place for Xbox has done nothing but damage to the fears and the discourse around the brand.
Maybe you should have.
I am unwilling to accept that there is actually a functionally important group of people that give a shit. Like, there's like 17 dads on Twitter with Xbox hats on that are mad, but like, I refuse to accept that there is an actual audience of people that this will impact. No.
Build yourself
I won't.
a life of meaning.
On top of that, Xbox's messaging is almost always reactive rather than proactive. Brand
He's
isn't
very right about this, and Sony has much better messaging, and Sony is much more proactive and forward-thinking. He's totally fucking right.
constant defensive state. It's been this way since 2013, and it makes Xbox look weak, honestly. Sony
Well, that's
and
because back then Xbox tried to pull some bullshit, and they were weak, and fuck them, and thank God Sony was around to keep them in check. That bullshit they tried to pull with always online with the camera on all the time, they can suck a dick for that.
Nintendo just aren't like this. But anytime Xbox takes a step forward, if you've noticed, there's seemingly a rake on the ground that smacks them in the face and causes them to stumble backwards.
That one there is called Halo 4. That's Halo 5. And all of these are the different seasons of Halo Infinite. And that's Xbox right there. The car's 343.
And it's always self-inflicted. Case in point, already in
Oh, actually, you know what? No, the car is actually Gears of War, because there's no one inside. It's completely ignored. It's abandoned.
And it's always self-inflicted. Case in point, already in 2024, we've gone from, yay, the developer direct was great, to this whole mess now. Last year, they had a killer start to the year with the
Wow.
first Xbox Developer Direct and the shadow drop of Hi-Fi Rush until they failed to see the train wreck that was Redfall until it was far too late, hyping its first ever $70 first-party game to be the next big thing from renowned developer Arcane.
How many
Instead,
people are playing Redfall right now? Man.
of seeing what was really about to ship and resetting community expectations accordingly. That constant one step forward, one step back, as much as anything.
Well, it's true that Sony has a much better lock on quality control than Xbox does. And I think it's probably because Sony is much more hands-on. It seems like at least they are, from like my completely disconnected perspective. I think Sony is much more hands-on. Microsoft is like, I think Microsoft is like, hey, just go fucking do whatever the shit you want to do with the game. Go ahead. You got to have it out really soon, though. And like, that's it. They don't give a fuck.
I think Xbox fans are simply exhausted at this point. As a hardware manufacturer and first-party publisher in the industry and one of the biggest companies in the industry overall, now more than ever,
massive.
Xbox just needs to be better. That's it. Tell people what's awesome about the platform and then prove it. Show some confidence. Which brings me
to...
Xbox,
the reason why Xbox is failing is that it doesn't provide a unique benefit. So Xbox can't leverage exclusives because people can just play them on PC. And because Xbox is simply a... like, you know, this is Microsoft, this is Xbox. Xbox is big, but Microsoft is, you know, it's fucking Microsoft. And so, really, they're never going to be able to say that you need to buy an Xbox to play this video game. Because if they do that, then they're fucking over all of the people that are already in the Microsoft ecosystem by owning Windows. And so, again, whenever you go and you play an Xbox game on PC, you're not getting one over on Microsoft because you're playing it on their operating system. That's it. And so I think that what Xbox needs to do is they need to find a way that their console can add value that's not through exclusives. Like, I don't know if that's being portable. I don't know if that's being, you know, a pseudo computer type thing. I think that they really need to be creative with this because Nintendo was creative with it with the Wii, and the Wii blew everybody out of the fucking water. I would say the Wii is the second greatest console of all time, second only, of course, to the PlayStation 2, which is the greatest console of all time. Everybody knows that. The point is, the Wii totally revolutionized gaming. It was the first time that anybody who was a non-gamer bought a gaming console. It was insane. It's incredible whenever you think about the cultural impact the Wii had. And then you go with the Wii U, which was a big fuck up, right? But the Wii U paved the path for N64. It was fucking trash compared to the Wii. Who gives a fuck about the Nintendo 64? Who cares? Like, if you think the Wii, there is no argument that the Wii is not at least the second greatest console of all time. That's just the way it is. It's just a fact. With the impact that it had on the culture, come on. Anyway, the point is that the Xbox doesn't have that hook. Like, the Switch has the hook of it being of it being portable. PlayStation has the hook of a bunch of exclusives. There's no hook for Xbox. The GameCube? Oh, you mean the worst version of the PlayStation 2? Give me one way that the GameCube was better than the PlayStation 2. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. Anyway, just fucking ban this guy. I don't want to actually listen to that fucking bullshit. Guy's an idiot. All right, next. Let's see the rest of this.
The possible light at the end of the tunnel. What if, in the end, Microsoft is right? Sony has masterfully built its PlayStation walled garden, and Nintendo continues to successfully march to the beat of its own drum, for better and for worse, but console growth is not accelerating. Mobile growth is. If
Yep.
Xbox is everywhere on consoles, PCs, and phones, is that the winning long-term strategy? Does Gen Alpha, talking about the 14 and under crowd here, even care about platforms? Do they just want...
I think that they probably do because 13-year-olds are stupid, and if you're stupid, you probably care about your gaming platform. So I feel like, yeah, I bet they probably do care about it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are the kids that were beating each other up whenever they were like 9 years old over Fortnite skins. Guaranteed they're getting in fights over Xboxes. 100%. It's not even a question.
games on all devices, but especially whichever device is closest to them at that moment, whether it's a phone or a console or a PC. But even if Microsoft is right, it sure could do a better job of telling everyone why it's confident it's right. Instead, Phil Spencer's message of, in effect, "We hear you, we'll get back to you next week," is not particularly reassuring.
Nah, I think that Phil saying that is totally fucking fair. Like, what's he gonna do? Tweet out, like, the business plan of Xbox? He's gonna have to take some time and figure out what they're gonna say. I mean, to be fair, Elon Musk would probably tweet it out. But I don't know if they would want that to happen, right? Yeah.
Future of Xbox is likely to look very different from both its past and its present. But in this present, we are watching a monolith of a company attempt to rewrite the rules of engagement in real time.
They already did. They already rewrote the rules with the Game Pass. I don't think that people realize that. Like, it already happened. And it worked. That's the thing, is it fucking worked.
Might work, but will Microsoft throw away 20 years of hard-earned brand loyalty in the process? Stay tuned.
That's a good point. Yeah, he does bring up a good point that there are a lot of people that will just buy the new Xbox because it's an Xbox. And, well, no, but, like, don't they sell consoles at a loss? I've heard that consoles are generally loss leaders. I don't know if that's still the case, but I remember this was the case. Even for Sony, yeah, I mean, there it is. I mean, imagine a PS3 probably wasn't sold a loss. That shit was overpriced as fuck. But all the rest of them, I bet it would be, yeah. Sega Genesis had a Game Pass in the 90s. It was called Sega Channel. Yeah, and Xbox had and Microsoft had a tablet in the 90s too. But nobody gave a fuck about it then because the world wasn't ready. It's the same as Google Stadia. Google Stadia, in 30 years, will be viewed as a great decision. It was just at the wrong time. Same with the Sega, whatever the fuck it was, Sega Connect or whatever. Yeah, what the fuck is Google Stadia? That's my point. There it is. I think this is kind of fair video. Again, I really, again, like, I try to spend as much time talking about, like, what I think is best for gamers. And I personally think what's best for gamers is, being able to play video games on any console. I'm really glad IGN has been pumping out a lot of these videos that are just like some guy talking about something because they're better for me to react to. I like this. I hope they keep doing it. This is great for me. So, yeah, give the video a like, give them a pat on the back so I can keep doing this. The Magnavox Odyssey has to be in the top 5, right? The Magnavox Odyssey was only big because it was the first console. Like, you could say it's in the top 5, but, like, it's really only there because of its historical relevance. It's not there because of the games. This was it was a relic created 3,000 years ago by the ancient dwarven races. And it was forged underneath a mountain. In like the core, like under magma. Same as the Wii. Yeah. Very, very rare. And 3DO is better than N64. I'll die on that hill. Oh, I don't remember. It's been a long time. My point is that I think that Xbox needs to reinvent itself. I think being a good console that plays well isn't enough. You can't compete with Sony. Because I'm going to be honest, guys, if I could choose and play, would I rather support Sony or Microsoft? I would rather support Microsoft. Without a doubt. Because I think that they have a more consumer-friendly plan and they have a more consumer-friendly business approach. And by the way, if they pull some shit again like they did with the last Xbox, then I'll go back over to Sony. Fuck them. But right now, I feel like I'd rather give my money to Microsoft. And so the truth is that I would rather buy an Xbox than a PlayStation. But I'm not going to do that whenever there's no reason to do it because I've already got a really great gaming PC. You know, that's just what it is.